everybody, it's Vaultboyhunter here, doing the second video of my Paper Pauper series. As I continue to build Paper Pauper decks, I'll probably continue to do these videos. The first one was Azorius Kitty, the Pirate Tea version. This one will be Trinket. I don't think Trinket's super positioned well on the meta online, but since I'm playing with just a few guys in the area, I'm not sure what they're going to be bringing, and I love Trinket. I think it's an amazing deck. I know the innovator of the deck Pirates, he has moved on to the Pig Trinket, so I'll probably get the cards to build that version of it and try that one out as well. But for right now, I just went with Dimir Trinket because I think, it's just a fun deck to play. Super grindy, super controlling without having to run counters. I think leaving up counters unless you're mono blue and pauper is actually typically a detriment. Or if you're playing like an Obzon, an Obzon, whatever his name is, God, Dylan, playing like Snowgo like he always does. But here we go. So first off, for Fume Spitters, the early game control, and then really when you have, it's a counter, and when you're recurring come with Grim Harvest and stuff, it's actually super effective that it's a counter and not this -1/-1 until end of turn. Next up is Augur of Skulls. A little hand control, plus a regenerating blocker, which isn't horrible. Sometimes the deck just needs that. Next up is Mr. Crypt Rats, a win condition and a board wipe all in one. Next up is Mr. Chitters, 2 chittering rats. Only 2 in the main, 2 more on the side, and the reason why is because it's really effective against control but not good against aggro. So you play the extra 2 in the side and you bring it in against control if you need it. Next up is Trinket Mage, the namesake of the deck. 3 of those guys. And then of course, since we're playing a blue deck and it's Pauper, for Mole Drifters, drawing some cards, playing the Happy Dragon. Okay. That's it for creatures. It's a little creature light. It's a little heavier on the spells. So let's see. Okay, I'm just getting all the non-creature stuff ready. Sorry, I keep pausing because I don't want to cough on camera. I'm sorry if I clear my throat. I've been dealing with like a sinus infection thing. First trinket target, Subbok Life Staff. Your stuff will die. You'll be recurring it, and this will be gaining you extra life. Keeps you alive in the aggro matchup. Then 3 Tragic Slips, good removal, and then in combination with like Fume Spitter, giving the -13 is a lot more guaranteed. Next up is some evil that is undying. A neat trick you can pull with Augur of Skulls, with Mole Drifter, with the chittering rats. It's multi-purposeful. It's really good. 2 Executioner's Capsules. You could run more than 2, but since Mono Black became such a powerful thing, 2 is probably the right amount. And then they get sideboarded out. Sign in Blood, the card draw for the deck. It could be Read the Bones, but since the 3 slot is already so full, having it in the 2 slot is actually a lot better, even though you're drawing blind. 1 Diabolic Edict, and then 3 Chainer's Edicts. And it's that ratio simply because these are stronger, but having an instant speed sacrifice outlet helps out a lot against hexproof, which is actually a problematic matchup for the deck. And then 2 Grim Harvest, which is the engine for the deck, lets you recur all these really good controlling creatures like Fume Spitters, like Augur of Skulls, like Crypt Rats, over and over and over again, gaining a little value each time. And you always have to be careful. You protect your first harvest as much as you can, and you keep the other harvest as your backup harvest, basically. But you never want them in the yard at the same time, and you never want one going into the yard without being able to pay for the recover cost immediately. So that's the trick about playing Trinket, is you have to keep your harvest safe, because without it, it's just kind of a bad Dimir deck. So over to lands, 4 Evolving Wilds, pretty typical. There's almost always some search lands in these decks. 4 Dimir Aqueducts, so the full set of Aqueducts. 1 Bajuka Bog, just in case. I'm going to pause for a second. And a little deviation. I'm running 2 Seed of the Synods and 2 Vaulted Whispers, and I like running 2 of each to Trinket up. I think the original deck runs 2 Vaults and 1 Seat, but I like that ability to get it with the Trinket if I need it, and then if I draw a redundant Trinket and maybe I've already played the Life Staff, or I'm playing mono black in game 1 and I don't need the capsules, I can go after a land and not have an empty Trinket. 1 Baron more. 6 Swamps. And then 1 Island. This 1 Island. Because there's really not a lot of blue. I mean, there's Muldrifter and Trinket, and really get most of your blue off the Aqueducts. So. And the Seats, of course. Sideboard, 3 Duresses for your anti-control needs. Duress. Pauper Klatsus. 1 more Life Staff for anti-aggro. 2 Spell Bombs for any sort of graveyard shenanigans. This deck is particularly weak against that. 3 more Diabolic Edicts, because again, Hexproof is a problematic match. 2 more Chits for anti-control. They're super strong against control. 2 more Deep Analysis, again, anti-control. And then 2 Spinning Darknesses against aggro. So, pretty self-explanatory. I mean, the deck itself is really complicated to play. I think you could play 100, 200 games with this deck and end up with the ratio of like 40% wins and still be happy, because every move you make is super complicated. A lot of the time, like, sequencing is super important. I'm probably going to screw it up the first couple times I play it again, because it's been like 6 months since I've played any matches with it. But that's just basically how any complicated, not just turning creature sideways to win deck works. But that's it. That's Trinket, Paper Trinket. Pretty much just the exact list. I will probably build the Pig Trinket and do a video of this for that as well, and see how that goes, because that looks like a pretty interesting deck too. So, but that's it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, it really helps us out. You can find us on Twitter at MagicGathStrat, Facebook /MagicGatheringStrat, or on the web, magicgatheringstrat.com. There you can find articles and free prize-supported leagues. This is all brought to you by our Patreons and cardhoarder.com. If you enjoy this content, please consider supporting us at patreon.com /MagicGatheringStrat.